Urologist warns, avoid these 5 simple water habits that are killing your drive and performance. Hello. If you're a man over 50, have you ever felt like you're just a step slower than you used to be? That the energy and vigor you once took for granted have started to fade? It's a common concern, a concern I hear every day in my practice. And most men blame it squarely on age. They believe it's just an inevitable decline. But what if I told you that for many, a significant part of this problem isn't the candles on your cake, but simply what's in your glass? This isn't just a theory, it's science. In fact, research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology has shown a direct link between even mild dehydration and a spike in cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, which actively works against your testosterone. It reminds me of a patient of mine, John, a 68-year-old retired teacher. He was frustrated having spent a small fortune on supplements with no results. It turned out his core issue wasn't complex at all. He was just chronically dehydrated. I'm Dr. Audrey Wells. In this video, I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm going to explain the powerful science behind water and your masculine health and give you simple, actionable steps you can start using today. Let's get started. All right, let's get right into our first section. We're going to build the foundation for everything else we discuss today. Section number 1, the foundation. Water's critical role in your blood flow. Now, the first and most vital role of water in your body is supporting healthy blood flow. I want you to really let that sink in. Blood flow is the physical, mechanical basis for masculine performance and energy. It is the system that delivers life to every part of your body. Without optimal flow, nothing else works as it should. It is the absolute cornerstone of a man's vitality, especially as we get older. But here's the critical mistake so many men make, and perhaps you've made it too. You focus on all the complicated things. You track your cholesterol numbers. You worry about your blood pressure. Maybe you've even spent good money on supplements advertised to boost something called nitric oxide. You eat salads, you try to avoid fried foods, and you think you're doing everything right for your circulation. But you are completely ignoring the most fundamental component of all, the very medium that carries everything through your body, the blood itself. You're trying to upgrade the engine of your car without ever checking if there's enough oil in it. This oversight is incredibly common, and it can negate all of your other hard work. So, why is this so profoundly important? Let's talk about the science, but in a way that makes sense. When your body is even mildly dehydrated, it sends out an alarm. To protect your vital organs, it starts to pull water from wherever it can, and one of the first places it looks is your bloodstream. When water is pulled out of your blood, the blood that remains becomes thicker. It becomes more viscous. Think of it like a smooth tomato soup slowly simmering and reducing down into a thick tomato paste. That's what happens to your blood. It turns from a freely flowing river into a slow, thick sludge. And what happens when the blood gets thick? Your heart, a truly amazing muscle, is forced to work much, much harder to pump that sludge through thousands of miles of blood vessels. This strain not only tires you out, but it also dramatically reduces the efficiency of circulation. The flow slows down. And where does it slow down the most? In the smallest blood vessels, the capillaries, which are furthest from the heart, the very places that are most critical for nutrient delivery, energy, and yes, sexual performance. Your body is simply not getting the oxygen and nutrients it needs at the speed and volume required for youthful vitality. And this isn't just a fancy theory. This is based on the bedrock of undisputed human physiology. You don't need a single specific study to prove this because it's a foundational truth of how our bodies are built. Your blood plasma, the liquid that carries your red blood cells and all those important nutrients, is more than 90% water, 90%. So it's a simple, undeniable equation. When you reduce the water content in the system, you reduce blood plasma volume. When you reduce the plasma volume, the remaining components, like red blood cells, become more concentrated. the blood gets thicker. The pressure and flow of the entire system decrease. It is a direct cause and effect relationship that no doctor or scientist would ever dispute. It's as fundamental as gravity. To put it in simpler terms, I want you to think of your vascular system like a brand new garden hose connected to a powerful spigot. When you are fully hydrated, the spigot is wide open and the hose is clear. You get a strong, powerful, steady stream of water that can reach the furthest corners of your garden with ease. That is your blood flow in its optimal state. Now, imagine what happens when you're dehydrated. That's like turning the spigot down to a trickle and then adding a kink in the hose. What do you get? A weak, dribbling, disappointing stream that can barely water the plants right at your feet. That weak trickle. That is the reduced flow of oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your body when you don't drink enough water. It really is a simple problem of hydraulics. So, how can you apply this knowledge safely and effectively? The solution is not to go and chug an entire gallon of water all at once. That will just send you running to the bathroom. The key here is consistency, sipping, not gulping throughout the entire day. My recommendation is simple. Get a good quality 32-ounce reusable water bottle. It's about 1 liter. Your goal is to fill it up and drink it 2 to 3 times a day. Make it a habit. Drink the first bottle by lunchtime. Drink the second by the end of your workday. Keep it on your desk, in your car, with you at all times. It acts as a constant visual reminder. The goal is to maintain that optimal blood volume and viscosity from morning until night. This very principle was the first aha moment for my patient, John, that I mentioned earlier. For months, he had been trying everything, focusing on diet and even exercise. But he would start his day with 2 cups of coffee, a diuretic that makes you lose water. Then he'd have a diet soda in the afternoon, another diuretic. He thought he was doing the right things, but he was taking 1 step forward with his food choices and 2 steps back with his hydration. He was creating that thick, sludgy blood without even realizing it. The moment he replaced the coffee and soda with water and focused on that steady intake all day long, he told me the first thing he noticed wasn't in the bedroom. It was his energy. He just felt more alive, more alert. It was a small tweak, but for him, it made a world of difference. And it could for you too. Okay, now that we have a solid understanding of how hydration is the foundation for blood flow, let's move on to the second critical piece of the puzzle. This goes a layer deeper than just mechanics. It's about your body's chemistry. Section number 2, the hormonal seesaw. Dehydration, stress, and your testosterone. The second vital role that water plays is in maintaining your delicate hormonal balance. Specifically, I'm talking about the crucial ratio between your masculine hormone, testosterone, and your primary stress hormone, cortisol. These 2 hormones exist in a constant dance, a push and pull, a seesaw. And when your hydration is off, that seesaw gets thrown completely out of balance, with serious consequences for your energy, your mood, and your drive. But first, let's address the most common mistake I see. A man comes into my office. He's tired all the time. His libido, his desire, it's not what it used to be. He's a bit more irritable, a bit more moody, and he attributes all of this, 100% of it, to getting older. He just accepts it as his new normal. He says, "Doc, I guess this is just what 55 or 65 feels like." He doesn't realize that his own simple daily habits he doesn't even think about, are actively working against him. He's unknowingly suppressing his own testosterone day in and day out simply by not drinking enough water. It's a classic case of not seeing the forest for the trees. So let's look at the science of why this happens. Your body is an incredibly intelligent survival machine. It has evolved over millions of years with one primary goal: to keep you alive. When your body senses a threat, like a lack of sufficient water, it triggers an ancient hardwired alarm system. It enters what we call survival mode. It doesn't know you're just busy at work and forgot to drink. It thinks you're in a desert, facing a real crisis. In response to this perceived threat, your adrenal glands start pumping out more cortisol. Cortisol is the fight or flight hormone. Its job is to manage the crisis by raising your blood sugar for quick energy and shutting down any bodily functions that aren't essential for immediate survival. And here's the key. In this survival state, your body considers your reproductive system to be non-essential. It's a luxury. Your body's logic is simple. I don't have enough water to run my core systems, so I certainly don't have the resources to worry about creating offspring. As a result, when cortisol levels go up, your testosterone production goes down. It is an inverse relationship, a hormonal seesaw. One side goes up, and the other is forced to go down. This isn't a weakness, it's a brilliant survival mechanism. But in our modern world, it's a mechanism that is being triggered far too often by simple, chronic dehydration. And this hormonal shift is not just a theory, it's well documented. As I mentioned in the introduction, a key study published in the prestigious Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism confirmed this relationship. Researchers observed that when subjects were dehydrated, their cortisol levels consistently rose. The study highlighted how the body, under physical stress like dehydration, will always prioritize immediate survival functions, like maintaining blood pressure, over what it deems less urgent systems, which includes the entire reproductive and endocrine system responsible for testosterone production. This provides clear clinical evidence that the link between your water bottle and your hormones is very, very real. Here's a simple analogy to help you visualize this. Imagine your body is a large corporation, and suddenly it's facing a severe and unexpected budget crisis. This crisis is dehydration. What's the first thing the CEO does? They make cuts, and they don't start by cutting the core operations that keep the lights on. No, they cut the departments they consider non-essential for immediate survival. They slash the budgets for research and development, for marketing, and for expansion projects. In this analogy, your reproductive system, the system that governs libido and testosterone, is the R&D department. When the budget crisis hits, it's one of the first things to be put on hold. All available resources are rerouted to core operations, just to keep the company afloat. That's precisely what your body does when it's dehydrated. So, what is the practical, actionable solution? It is beautifully simple. By staying consistently hydrated throughout the day, you are sending a constant signal of safety and security to your body. You are keeping it out of that panicked alarm state. You are telling your internal systems, everything is okay. We have abundant resources. We are not in a crisis. When your body feels safe and well supplied, it doesn't need to overproduce cortisol. And when cortisol levels stay in a healthy, normal range, your body is then free to allocate resources back to the non-essential but very important systems, like producing healthy levels of testosterone. This direct hormonal link explains why so many men I've worked with report feeling a significant boost in energy, mood, and even libido after just a couple of weeks of committing to proper hydration. It's not a placebo effect. They aren't just imagining it. It is their body's biochemistry shifting back into a healthier, more optimal state. They've stopped the internal crisis, and their body is rewarding them for it. If this connection between hydration, stress, and your hormones makes sense to you, do me a quick favor and comment with the word balance down below. It helps me know you're getting value from this. All right. We've established that proper hydration is fundamental for both your blood flow and your hormone balance. You understand the why. Now we need to dive into the how, because it's not just about the quantity of water you drink. The way you drink it can make a massive difference in how much your body actually absorbs and utilizes. Section number 3, how to drink. 4 simple habits for maximum absorption. So let's talk about 4 practical, almost effortless habits that will help you drink water the right way. These aren't complicated rules. They are small, intentional adjustments to something you already do every day. And mastering them will ensure that every ounce of water you drink is put to the best possible use by your body. Now, The biggest mistake I see men make is what I call unconscious hydration. They treat drinking water like a task to be checked off a list. They get busy, realize they haven't had any water for hours, and then they grab a big bottle and chug it down as fast as they can, thinking, "There, I'm hydrated." They often drink it ice cold while standing up, probably while multitasking on their phone. This approach, this idea that as long as the water gets into your stomach, the job is done, is fundamentally flawed. It's inefficient, and in some cases, it can even be counterproductive to your goals. You're not a machine taking in fuel. You're a complex biological system that needs to process and absorb fluids correctly. So let's break down the science of why this matters. And then I'll give you the 4 simple habits to replace this old, inefficient method. We'll cover each habit one by one. Habit number 1 is sip, don't gulp. The reason for this is simple physiology. Your body, specifically your small intestine, where most water absorption happens, can only process a certain amount of fluid at a time. The consensus among nutritionists is that it can effectively absorb about 8 ounces, which is 1 cup, every 20 minutes or so. When you rapidly gulp down a 32-ounce bottle of water in 2 minutes, you are completely overwhelming that system. Your body can't keep up. It says, "Whoa, that's way too much at once." And it diverts the excess fluid straight to your kidneys to be flushed out. The water goes in and it comes right back out without ever having the chance to hydrate your cells, your tissues, or your bloodstream. You get the full bladder, but very little of the actual benefit. Habit number 2 is to sit down when you drink. This one might sound strange, almost like an old wives' tale, but there is sound science behind it. When you are standing, and especially when you're moving around, your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight system, is more active. Your muscles are tensed, your body is on alert. But when you sit down, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is known as the rest and digest system. When you're in this relaxed, seated state, your digestive tract functions more efficiently. Your stomach and intestines are not constricted. Your body can regulate fluid balance and circulation, including the crucial blood flow to the pelvic region, much more effectively. So by the simple act of sitting down to drink your water, you are putting your body in the optimal state for absorption. Habit number 3 is to use your saliva. This is a piece of wisdom from ancient Ayurvedic medicine that modern science is beginning to understand and appreciate. The habit is this: when you take a sip of water, don't just swallow it immediately. Hold it in your mouth for just a second or 2. Let it mix naturally with the saliva in your mouth before you swallow. The reason is fascinating. Your saliva is not just water, it's an alkaline fluid filled with digestive enzymes. When you pre-mix the water with this alkaline saliva, it helps to neutralize some of the acid in your stomach, creating a gentler environment for absorption. It's like sending a scout ahead to prepare the way. It's a tiny, simple step that primes your entire digestive system to receive and utilize that water more effectively. And finally, habit number 4 is to mind the temperature. On a hot day, nothing feels better than a glass of ice-cold water. I understand the appeal, but that extreme cold can actually be a shock to your system. When that icy liquid hits your stomach, your body has to expend a significant amount of metabolic energy just to warm it up to your core body temperature of 98.6 degrees. That's energy that could be used for other things, like digestion or cellular repair. This process can also constrict the blood vessels in your stomach lining, temporarily slowing down the absorption process. The ideal temperature for water, for maximum and gentle absorption, is either room temperature or slightly warm. It allows your body to take it in and use it immediately, without having to waste precious energy first. To help you remember all of this, I want you to use a simple analogy. From now on, I want you to treat drinking water like you were sipping a fine wine. You don't chug a glass of expensive wine. No, you sit down. You take small, intentional sips. You let it linger in your mouth for a moment to appreciate the flavor. You savor it. You do this to get the maximum experience from the wine. You should treat water with the same respect. You want your body to savor and absorb every drop for the maximum benefit, not just process it as quickly as possible. So let's put this into a practical routine. The how is easy. Instead of chugging, you will now take slow, deliberate sips from that 32-ounce water bottle throughout your day. You will make a point to sit down when you take those sips, even if it's just for 30 seconds at your desk. You will consciously let the water mix in your mouth before swallowing, and you will fill your bottle with cool, room temperature water instead of ice water. These 4 habits, when combined, create a powerful synergy that transforms water from something you just pass through your body into something your body can truly use to rebuild, rehydrate, and re-energize itself from the inside out. It's a profound shift from unconscious action to conscious self-care. Okay, we've covered the why and the how. For our final section, we need to address 2 of the most common questions I get from my patients. Exactly how much water should I be drinking, and does it matter when I drink it? The answer to both is yes, and getting this right is the final piece of our hydration strategy. Section number 4, when and how much, the rules of timing and quantity. Let's first talk about the ideal daily amount of water you should be aiming for, and then, more importantly, we'll discuss the strategic timing of your water intake. Because, as you'll soon see, timing can be just as critical as the total volume. Getting both right will ensure you maximize the benefits for your energy, your hormones, and your overall vitality. Now, the most common mistake I see here is what I call binge and purge hydration. This comes in 2 forms. First, there's the man who front loads. He wakes up and chugs half his daily water intake before 9 a.m., thinking he's ahead of the game. Then there's the man who backloads. He gets to 8 p.m., realizes he's barely had anything to drink all day, and then tries to make up for it by drinking 3 or 4 large glasses right before bed. A second, equally problematic mistake is drinking very large quantities of water right with your meals. All of these approaches, while well-intentioned, are inefficient at best and can be actively harmful to your health goals at worst. They disrupt your body's natural rhythms and can sabotage both your sleep and your digestion. So, why are these timing mistakes so critical to avoid? Let's start with the nighttime chugging. The reason is simple and profound. Drinking large volumes of water within 2 hours of going to sleep is the #1 cause of what we call nocturia, which is the medical term for waking up in the middle of the night to urinate. You might think, so what? It's a minor inconvenience. But it's far more than that. That interruption to your sleep cycle is incredibly disruptive to your body's hormone production. Your body produces its most significant surge of testosterone during the deep stages of sleep, specifically REM sleep. When you wake up, even for a few minutes, you break that cycle. You are literally interrupting the assembly line of your most important masculine hormone. It's a devastating own goal for your health. The second issue, drinking heavily with meals, impacts your digestion. Your stomach relies on a highly acidic environment, a powerful cocktail of hydrochloric acid, to break down food, especially proteins. When you drink a large glass of water right after eating, you are effectively diluting that stomach acid. You're watering it down. This makes it much less effective at its job, which can lead to incomplete digestion, bloating, and poor absorption of the vital nutrients from the food you just ate. You could be eating the healthiest meal in the world, but if you're not digesting it properly, you're not getting the benefits. And the science on this is irrefutable, especially concerning sleep. There are countless sleep studies published in journals like Sleep Medicine Reviews and conducted by institutions like the National Institutes of Health that all confirm the same thing. Deep, consolidated, uninterrupted sleep is absolutely critical for healthy testosterone synthesis. Anything that consistently fragments your sleep, whether it's sleep apnea, stress, or a full bladder, is going to have a direct negative impact on your hormone levels. This isn't a debate. It is a settled fact of human biology. I like to use an analogy with my patients. Think of hydrating your body like you would care for a valuable houseplant. You don't ignore the plant all day and then dump an entire gallon of water on it at 10 o'clock at night. That would just flood the pot, drown the roots, and make a mess. No. A good gardener gives the plant a steady, appropriate amount of water during its waking hours, during the daytime when it's photosynthesizing. You need to treat your body with the same wisdom. Give it a steady supply of water during your waking hours to thrive, and then let it rest and repair at night. So let's get into the practical, specific guidelines, the how-to. First, how much? For most men, a good target to aim for is between 85 and 100 fluid ounces per day. That's roughly 2.5 to 3 liters. This is about 10 to 12 standard 8-ounce glasses. Your 32-ounce water bottle makes this easy. Your goal is to finish about 3 of those per day. Now for the timing rules. These are simple but powerful. Rule number 1, taper off your water intake in the evening. Try to drink the majority of your water before 6 or 7 p.m. and absolutely stop drinking any large amounts of fluid at least 2 hours before you plan to go to bed. A few small sips if you're thirsty is fine, but no more chugging. Rule number 2, wait about 30 minutes after you finish a meal before you start drinking significant amounts of water again. This gives your stomach acid time to do its job undiluted. And rule number 3, use the color of your urine as your personal hydration gauge. It's the simplest biofeedback tool you have. You're aiming for a pale, straw-like yellow. If it's dark apple juice color, you are definitely dehydrated. If it's consistently crystal clear, you might actually be overhydrating and flushing out too many electrolytes. Listen to your body and adjust. One of the biggest and most consistent pieces of feedback I get from my patients is how much their sleep improves once they master this timing. A client of mine, David, a man in his early 60s, followed this advice to the letter. He told me that for the first time in years, he was sleeping through the entire night, and the synergy was incredible. That better sleep immediately translated to more energy the next day. He felt sharper, more focused at work, and had more stamina for his evening walks. It creates a powerful, positive upward spiral of health. It all starts with timing your water correctly. So, let's quickly bring everything together. We've learned today that smart hydration is absolutely fundamental. It is not a minor detail. It directly supports the very hydraulics of your body through better, smoother blood flow, and it helps to balance your hormones by keeping your body out of a state of chronic stress. And we've learned that it's not just about how much water you drink, but how and when you drink it that truly makes the difference. But I want to be very clear. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. I don't want you to just watch this video, I want you to benefit from it. So here is your simple 3-step action plan for this week. I like to call it the doctor's prescription. First, get yourself a 32-ounce reusable water bottle tomorrow. Having a physical tool makes tracking your intake infinitely easier. No more guessing. Second, choose just one new habit we discussed today. Just one. Don't try to be perfect and do everything at once. Maybe you'll focus on sitting down to drink, or maybe you'll focus on stopping your water intake 2 hours before bed. Pick one and master it. Third, for the next 7 days, just pay attention. Notice your body's feedback. How is your energy in the afternoon? How is your sleep quality? This is your data. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Doctor, I just don't like the taste of plain water. Or, I'm going to be running to the bathroom all day long. These are valid concerns. For the taste, a simple squeeze of fresh lemon or lime can make a world of difference. And as for the bathroom trips, I can assure you that it is temporary. It takes about a week for your body to adapt to proper hydration. After that, it will normalize. Please, give it time. Trust the process. And remember why we're doing this. This is about so much more than just hydration. This is about reclaiming your vitality. This is about having the physical strength and the confidence to remain independent. It's about having the energy to play with your grandkids, to travel, to enjoy the retirement you've worked so hard for. It's about feeling like the powerful, capable man you still are on the inside. You have the power to influence this. Your future self is counting on the choices you make today. So if you are committed to taking this first simple step with me, I invite you to join our community of men who are taking control of their health. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss our future guides. And more importantly, go to the comments section below and write 2 simple words. Day 1. This is your public commitment to yourself, a declaration that today is the day you start. Let's support each other on this journey. Thank you for investing your valuable time with me today. In our next video, we are going to explore the 3 most common breakfast foods that many men eat every single day that could be secretly draining your morning energy. You will not want to miss that one. Until then, I'm Dr. Audrey Wells, helping you build a stronger, healthier future.